What's happening, boys and girls? How the devil are we? Shanksy here, and welcome to my roster reviews, where we review yours, well, maybe not yours, but somebody's roster who's got in touch with me about it, and we check out everything they're working towards, all of their characters, all of their teams, and see if there's anything I would do differently. Now, keep in mind, guys and girls, you are a huge part of these roster reviews as well, because I really look forward to reading your comments at the end of all of them and see what you would do differently as well if you were to take over the roster we're about to look at right now. So, without further ado, let's get into it. What's happening, boys and girls? How the devil are we? Shanksy here, and welcome to my roster reviews. Today's roster is Slipshod. He has been playing for 443 days and spent about $1,200 on the game. But he has also just picked up Emma Frost literally before we sorted this video out. So he's now up to about $1,300, but let's be fair. With how awesome she is, most of us wowed fairly hard on Emma, right? She's absolutely phenomenal. It's disgusting how good she is. So, what is he trying to do at the moment? In that 443 days, he has completed a total collection power of 4.4 million, with his strongest team power being 450k. He's been War MVP for the All-Spark Raiders, and I think the main part of this video was to give an absolute awesome shout out to all them legends over there at the All-Spark Raiders and the All-Spark Cluster. What's happening, you boys and girls? How the devil are you? He has collected... he's been War MVP twice, with 136 of them characters collected. 23 of them are at max rank, with his all-time arena rank being super high as well, at rank 9, with his latest arena rank being there at 82. I've got to be honest, as someone that used to be in the top 10 very regular, in fact, all the time, but someone that used to be in the top 10 since the introduction of Black Order, and pretty much any one team can beat any one team, it's been very hard to stay in the top 10, top 20. So if you guys are still managing to do that, fair play to you, because I'm now hovering around the top 50 myself, you know what I'm saying? Right, so what is he doing at the moment? He's ready for the 6-star Black Bolt unlock. He's ready for the 6-star Ebony Maw unlock. He's working on Gear Tier 14 and Symbiote Spider-Man Minerva, and really prepping for Dark Dimension 3. He started Dark Dimension 3 about a week and a half ago, and he's already a little bit of the way through Node 2 as well. I think predominantly what we're going to be focusing on is war teams throughout this, and working out really where you're going to get the most bang for your buck on those war teams, as everything else is very much set in stone, and he's got a very good path on where he's following. Now, this is a slightly different format to what we do normally. We're going to skim through the characters quicker rather than reading out everyone in particular. I'm going to be looking for high red stars and key characters to really see where we can get the most bang for our buck, and then maybe spending a little bit more time on the actual save squads as well. He's also working on U7 for difficulty 2, and honestly, there's so many good characters in there that can work. And most recently, I've been trying out various combinations with Mr. Sinister, and he is so raid viable. It's unbelievable. Right. Without further ado, let's start having a little look into this one, shall we? So, top of the shop, we're going to be starting with Mystique, Hela, Minerva, Shocker, Karnak, and Cull Obsidian are all favorited. Now, it's quite interesting to get Cull Obsidian favorited there at 13k. It must be for a gear farm. Obviously, there's no shard farm there, with Karnak being there for a shard farm. Minerva is obviously there for the gear, and keep an eye on her when she can get gear. Hela is there at level 73. Now, Hela is definitely one to put into Dark Dimension 3 for those cosmic nodes. I've not yet hit the cosmic nodes myself. I should do in about 2 days' time. I've been super slack on it, guys. You know that. But we are pushing forward hard now. And Mystique there as well for those Marauders team. Now, I've got to be honest, as far as a war defense team goes, and as far as a team goes right now, the Marauders are looking saucy as you like as you like. And Mystique is also one of those characters that works really well in raid at whatever difficulty with Mr. Sinister. He does so many good things. It's well worth keeping an eye on. Other than that, we've got Killmonger top of the shop with 6 red stars there. He's going to be an absolute beast as is in Alliance War. As a defense team goes, Killmonger can be one of those characters that you just don't see coming. Never underestimate a big Killmonger, guys. They will destroy teams. Then we got Phoenix there at 91k. We got 7 red stars on Thanos, guys, but only 6 gold stars. That, oh, if he was farmable, man, that would be a huge priority without a shadow of a doubt. 6 stars there on Shuri, bringing her up to 84k. And then we move down the list with Juggernaut there at 82. We've got Star-Lord, Symbiote Spider-Man, already level 75. We've also got Star-Lord at level 75, pretty interesting. Maybe an idea. Personally, I probably wouldn't really take him up to Gear Tier 14 personally. Symbiote Spider-Man is a guaranteed, you bet your life, you take him into Dark Dimension. You bet your life. Jessica Jones there at 71. Invisible Woman. This is the Mr. Sinister that I'm talking about. I've recently Gear Tiered 14 my Mr. Sinister, and I've not regretted it once. He's an absolutely phenomenal character. And with a really big Magneto, a really big Juggernaut, a decent sized Mystique there as well. This is actually starting to look like you can get a secondary U7 team using them guys in various circumstances, which is really going to help your progression rather than just the one raid team worrying about heals, that type of thing. Mr. Sinister is definitely a character to keep an eye on. Other than that, Rocket Raccoon, Yo-Yo, my favourite character in the game without a shadow of a doubt. She's absolutely beastly, sitting there at 67k. And then we are going to move on, and this should be moving on down to Scientist Supreme, Falcon, Cage, Carnage there at level 75 as well, getting moved up to Gear Tier 14. The trouble with moving all of the symbiotes up to Gear Tier 14, it's so damn expensive. It's so damn expensive to move them all up. But Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man are definitely ones that you want to. Venom you could probably get away with not doing, take him to Gear Tier 12. But Carnage and Symbiote Spider-Man are guarantees you need to move them up there. Falcon is a character that I have taken up to to Gear Tier 14 and not regretted it. But I have got 7 red stars on him, and at this point in time, I've got to be honest, I'd rather have put that gear on Minerva. So you know what you're doing when it comes to 7-star in Gear Tier 14 in people, without a shadow of a doubt. Vision sitting there at 5 stars as well, ready to go up. That would add a fair amount of power up there, easy 5k. Sitting there at level 71. I like what you're doing here as well. A lot of level 71 characters getting that extra boost on focus, that extra boost on resistance makes a whole load of sense, boys and girls. It really does. Now with this Punisher here, I don't know what bit of the gear this is and who you're saving this bit of gear for, but it might be worth just giving it to him. It's only 1 away. I'd have to look what bit of gear it is, but it might be worth. When they're just 1 away, I'm like, oh! And Punisher is a pretty cool character. And I like him a lot for a lot of content. I really do. I know a lot of people are like, what are you going on about, Shanks? It's bloody Punisher. What are you talking about? I like him. All right? I like him. Don't at me. I like him. Right. Then we got Iron Fist Okoye. See, a decent size Okoye there at 6 red stars as well. This could be one hell of a team with that type of synergy between that Wakandan team. Could be a really disgusting team to start working on. Quake there, Mantis, Daredevil, Mordo, Sif, all at decent levels, all around where you'd expect them to be. Colossus there as well on a bit of a farm. Well worth taking him up to 7 stars without a shadow of a doubt. Definitely one to keep an eye on. And I would finish this Mordo farm off as well. Literally 4 away. Just get it done, baby. Just get it done. Right, then we move over to Crystal. Keeping an eye on these. Keeping an eye on these red stars. Thor's got a decent amount of red stars on him there as well. Huge fan of the Asgardians. And Thor is one of them that you want a lot of red stars on him. Other than that, I know that you're working on the Sinister Six to a certain level. Everything I've seen on the Sinister Six so far, they're at a decent enough level as is. You know, I reckon we're probably looking at a 200, 250k Sinister Six team. I don't think they're worth taking too much more above that. Depending on where they're at. That Pyro could do with a little bit of loving. Apart from that, I'd leave pretty much everyone there where it is. Now, this is the first big, in my opinion, first big red flag on this whole roster would be Captain Marvel. She's tiny. She's tiny. Give us some love, man. Give us some love. And honestly, she is her own war defense team. I'm going to be doing a list soon of top 5 war defense teams in the game, ranking them up. And Captain Marvel, by herself, is going to get an honourable mention. Not as part of the Hero Brawlers, by herself. The Hero Brawlers are a good team, you know, a good room. But Captain Marvel is her own entity when it comes to that. If you can get that Captain Marvel boosted up a little bit, it's going to be very, 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 very scary for a lot of people in War. She's an absolutely phenomenal character. If you then start to progress further and you've got more of those War defense teams built up, then she can go with the hero brawlers and just make them even better. But she is literally her own entity without a shadow of a doubt. Captain Marvel there needs some loving, baby. Ironheart, Venom, all that type of stuff. Taskmaster as well, sat there about 35k. As far as a standalone character to improve War, Taskmaster is absolutely huge. Like, huge. Right, then we go down to Merc Riot Guard. We've got Iron Man in there, Blob, Nick Fury. No crazy red stars floating around. Ghost Riders looking to go up. Great War offense team. If you've been watching any of Shanksy Strikes, literally that whole Supernatural team is one of my favourite War offense teams. And a lot of these Shield coming in a little bit low as well. And that's a really good room as well, right? Make no bones about it. Coulson Fury teams are still hard work to deal with. The New Brotherhood do very well for them, and there are still counters, but you can't just whack any old Muppets in front of them, can you? Right, then we go down to Rescue, Black Panther, War Machine, on Baku. No crazy high red stars, no real core component there. Cyclops is good, but you know what? It's still the second best team in the game, no matter who you put there. Storm could definitely do with a little bit of loving. Really useful in raids as well. Like if you're looking for really difficult boss nodes in U7 where you're struggling to get past them, get that Storm in early doors, get her charged up and unleash her on that node that you're struggling with. You're going to clear that node real quick, real quick. Right, Agent Coulson there. Oh, he's such a small little Agent Coulson. Give him some love, baby. Give him some love. Kyoko Nobu, Corvus, Squirrel Girl sat there at 4 red stars as well. Night Nurse there at 21k. I'd leave her where she is. Don't take her up any higher, for God's sake. Psylocke, Graviton. Graviton could definitely do with some love. I tell you what, the Aimtron team, or just AIM themselves, have such crazy punch-up potential in War that if you can get that to like 200, 250k team, you've got so many options with Aimtron going forward. It's absolutely crazy. We're also quite low there on all of the Kree, although Kree Royal Guard's nearly done. Kree Noble's quite a way off, and obviously that's why it's not a 6-star Nick Fury, so that's probably why you're not building too much down that path. But honestly, it might not be a bad idea just to give Coulson a little bit of love. Even if Nick Fury's not crazy big, not crazy strong, it's still a decent team. And one of the big things about War is you want to drag those hard counters out. Even if people are going to punch down and things like that, they'd rather use a punch down counter than they would a punch up maybe. You know, so you're going to drag these big teams out of War. And that's what really War's all about. You know, let them use their big guns first and foremost. Until you hit the top 100 or top 200 where everyone's going ham and you know it's a guaranteed clear, then it doesn't really matter. Right, then we've got Hand Sorceress, Human Torch, no crazy red stars. Got quite a nice amount of on Shield Trooper there. Now, Shield Trooper, if you're struggling to get Dark Dimension started, is very, very easy to gear tier 14. He's not one that I would recommend, but he is very, very easy to gear tier 14. Right, then, other than that, pretty standard, straightforward. Red Skull could definitely do with a little bit of loving, as could a Monstrosity there. Nothing crazy, just a little bit of loving. And Shield Assault, in my opinion, if you were to start working on that Shield team, Shield Assault is one of the key components for that crit damage as well. Right, all of the X-Force, all of the lower echelons of players, or characters that we expect to see down here, are down here. Nebula's ready to get starred up. Don't do it, ever. Like, ever. And then, obviously, waiting for that Black Bolt unlock, waiting for that Ebony Maw unlock, and this is going to go leaps and bounds. Honestly, for where you're at in the game, you've got a real solid roster, man. Some great characters, some really good red stars as well on a lot of characters higher up the line. With Symbiote Spider-Man sat there at 4 on Hela, 6 on Phoenix, 7 on Thanos, 6 on Killmonger. There's some big red stars on this account. It's looking pretty good. Let's have a little look at those save squads, though. Right then, guys, let's have a little look at the save squads. Now, you might be thinking, hang on, Shanks, what are you doing with all these randomness things going around, like the screen size is different and that? Sometimes just certain phones and certain things that people take their screenshots with don't actually work out very well on the video. So I crop them up a little bit and stuff like that. And then basically just the way this has worked out is this is the best I can get it. Hence why we've got the Shanksy logo in the middle and stuff like that. It won't be for all of them. It's just for this particular one. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, right? But top of the shop is 422k. And I'm guessing this is probably a U7 team of some sort. I'm guessing the top two. Now, what we do know is he's not a massive blitzer as well. So, Slipshod's not a massive blitzer. He's a very much milestones and chill type of guy. You know, man after my own heart at the moment. I'm blitzed out right now. So, he's very much milestones and chill. So, what I'm expecting to see is just a massive drop-off on these teams. See, I'm going to expect to see decent, massive drops. So, we'll see what happens. So this is quite a random little team here. I'd like to give this a little whirl. You know what? I might actually give it a little whirl and see how this does. I'm guessing some type of Dark Dimension thing. If I was running this in Dark Dimension, I'd probably even think about dropping out the Killmonger and putting in Mr. Sinister there. Probably Thanos as well, even though he's a 91k. Probably could do better with someone else in there. Yeah, I'd have to play around with it a little bit and see how it plays out. Then we move down to a bit of an offshoot with Vision there for the defense up. We've got some tech in there. We've got Invisible Woman. Pretty nice little random team. But they're not random teams. I wouldn't be using any of these teams so far for War, guys. I wouldn't be using them for War, but I definitely would be using them in Blitz if I couldn't be bothered to put the massive team together. Or I'd be using them for raids and things like that. I would not be using these two teams here for War whatsoever. This is the first team that I definitely would use for War, coming in there with a standard Guardians team. Solid position in there with Star-Lord next to Rocket. Groot in the middle, taking that taunt there as well. What you could even do is maybe put Drax there and move Mantis off to the right-hand side. So if the taunt comes in with Drax initially, which it will do, if there's any type of chain attacks, they might go right. And it might just go to Mantis as opposed to hitting everyone else. Could be an idea. Nothing major if you don't. Right, then we move down to 276k on the Defenders team, and I've got to be fair, I'll be leaving that where it is. It's a nice solid number, and for what you've got in that roster, for what you've got capable of part of your arsenal, you don't need to see this go any higher. Solid team. If you eventually get the stars for Iron Fist, great, boost him up. If you get the stars for Punisher, great, boost him up, but let's not stress about it. Then we move down to the Marauders. Obviously, Okoye has now gone off to find another home because Emma Frost has moved in and Emma Frost is here to stay. So that would be actually a really, really nice team. And again, don't be afraid to experiment with Mr. Sinister and Mystique combinations in Dark Dimension, guys. Honestly, I've been blown away by the results so far. Then we move down to the Inhumans with Scientist Supreme sitting in there as well. Scientist Supreme will also be finding a new home once we've got that Black Bolt unlocked as well. So then we move down to the New Brotherhood. Absolutely beautiful team. One of my favourite War offense teams at the moment. I really, 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 really like them. Great counters to pretty much everybody. Then we move down to the Sinister Six team. Now, I know the Sinister Six team is a team that you're working on at the moment, but I've got to be fair, 225k power. They're good enough for both legendary unlocks. They're a good enough team that's going to give you options in War, both punch-ups, counters and punch-downs. I think leave it where you are with the Sinister Six. Move on, pick a new team at this point until you really want to push them a little bit higher. So one thing that I would recommend is when you're building up these teams, guys, don't look at someone's team power, someone who's got a total collection power of, I don't know, 10 million and go, well, all of his teams are 500k or 400k. I want this team to be 400k before I start working on it. This is where you're going to get your overall collection power is depth now as opposed to width. And I think the Sinister Six at this point are strong enough. Once you've got that extra bit of like a couple of million collection power, then you can go, right, okay, let's move them up to 300k before moving on to another team. But at 225, I think you're good where you are, baby. Then we go on to the Asgardians, 223k. Now, if I was to pick a team that I was going to have to push over, and you're still working on Sinister Six, I would rather still see this work go into the Asgardians, who are a much more beneficial team, especially in War. Granted, they're a War defense team, so you don't get to see that full potential, but they're solid in Blitz. They're solid all over the place, right? But 223k, even at this point, I'd say that's enough while you're finding out the rest of the stars and stuff for Sif, Heimdall and Thor and Loki, Ella. They're all 6 stars. You're good as gold where they are. Let's look for different teams that would make more of an impact. Now, Supernatural team at 176 will actually give you solid potential to punch up and stuff like that. So they're probably good where they are. Maybe this is the team. One of these 2 teams is the team that I would start on at this point. And it'd probably be the Mercenaries. Mercenaries, in my opinion, are still an absolute nightmare to counter in war. No one looks forward to seeing the Mercenaries. Full stop. You could get Bullseye into that team there in place of Wolverine, and it would be all shades of spicy, baby. Would make for a real solid war team. And then again, obviously, with that Captain Marvel, just boosting that Captain Marvel as opposed to anyone else in that team, it's going to play absolutely wonders for war defense going forward. Then we move down to Power Armor. Obviously, Falcon's a lot higher up, so we've got Captain America in there instead. Absolutely fine for Blitz. Pretty good for war as well. You know, Falcon actually gets a war bonus where he can do extra damage, so it's not actually a bad place to use him on a different offensive team where he can just clear up and blitz. Not a bad idea. It's not something I'd do. I'd like to keep the team together, but it's not a bad idea. Then we go to this Coulson Fury team, and again, this is a team that with very little investment could get brought up a lot higher with who's in there as well. One thing I would say is I would be taking out Shield Trooper for Shield Assault. I know you've got those nice red stars, them big 5 red stars on Trooper, but Shield Assault is going to make the whole team stick a lot better with that extra critical chance on its passive and everything like that. It's just going to do a lot better for the team. Then we move down to the offshoot of... It's a bit of a Wakandan team mixed with X-Men. Okay, I can dig it. Have we got... Just floating back here. I haven't seen a Phoenix yet. And I know you've got an absolutely redonkulously big Phoenix. So I would like to see her in Blitz and maybe even whack her in that team. You know, as long as the Phoenix is like big, she's going to carry whatever team, right? So, yeah, make sure she's in the Blitz rotation. Even if you're just doing milestones and chill, just hit them milestones quicker, right? Then we go to a little bit of the Black Order with Yondu in there. Putting Cull in there might be a better shout than Yondu, but Yondu has got that massive AoE hit. So to be fair for a Blitz team, it makes about right. He has got that nice little AoE hit. 92k there on Kree, 95k on the Hand team. I wouldn't be taking them up any higher. 89k on the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four with Hulk there, as obviously Invisible Woman has been used further up. 68k there for the AIM team. 43k on the Red Skull team. And then we go down to a different type of mercenary team with Boomer and Nebula. Nebula found her way into a bloody squad. God damn it. So, right, I know Hydra is a bit of a focus for you on who to level up next and things like that. And that's all well and good. You would be able to get a lot of improvements on that Hydra team very, very quickly. But you're lacking on stars. You know, you're lacking on stars, and you would need to start farming all of those stars up to really start building that team up to a decent level. Fantastic Four, you are probably in a better shout with. You are probably in a better shout with Fantastic Four. At this point in time, you've got more stars on them anyway, with Thing being in the Blitz store, Namor being available as well. I think the Fantastic Four is an easier team to work on and will give you a lot more war capabilities offensively. As far as defensively goes, I would probably be trying to bring that Merc team up closer to about 200k and that Captain Marvel, rather than worrying about the Hydra team at this point. Although they're a great team, I don't think they're a core focus. But what do you guys at home think? Am I wrong here? Should he be working on the Hydra team before the other teams? Personally, I'd go Fantastic Four. I'd go AIM. Personally. But I am looking at much more of an offensive side of things. For a defense side of things, I'd go Mercenary and I'd go Shield, because the bones of that team are already there. The bones of Shield Coulson are there. The bones of Aimtron is there. Everything's type of there. You know, where Hydra, you need a lot of stars, you need a lot of gear, you need a lot of everything. I don't know. Maybe I'd work on filling out the skeletal teams as opposed to working on Red Skull at this point in time. My own personal opinion, boys and girls. I want to know what you think right now in the comments below. Am I wrong? It happens once in, I don't know, 100 years or so, once a century. It's been known that I may be wrong every now and again. Very rarely, but it happens. That is it for me, boys and girls. Slipshod, hope you've enjoyed the review, my friend. I love your face. Appreciate all you guys watching. If you have watched it and enjoy it, make sure you do us a massive favour. Give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Turn them notifications on. And until next time, be smart, be strong, be safe. And I'll see you on the flip side. Take it easy, Commanders.